They came with banners, flags, and a message, simple yet powerful. No kings. Millions of Americans poured into the streets of over 2,700 cities. Not to celebrate, not to riot, but to remind their president that the United States has no throne. But instead of listening, Donald Trump mocked them with memes, mockery, and royal crowns. And in doing so, he may have proven their point. It was a weekend unlike any other. Crowds filled the streets of Washington, New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. Teachers, veterans, students, parents, ordinary citizens marched to defend something sacred: the Constitution itself. In Washington, protesters signed a massive banner representing the Constitution, while in Boston, a man dressed as George Washington held a sign that read, "We already fought this war once." From coast to coast, the message was clear: we don't bow to kings. But the White House didn't see democracy in motion. They saw a joke. Instead of addressing the message, Trump doubled down, turning dissent into entertainment. He posted an AI-generated meme of himself wearing a golden crown, piloting a fighter jet labeled King Trump, dumping sewage on protesters below. His vice president, J.D. Vance, joined in, posting a meme of Democrats kneeling before Trump in a royal court, calling him their divine ruler. It was trolling on a presidential scale. His supporters laughed, but many others saw something far more dangerous. Political observers say this wasn't just humor, it was psychological warfare. By joking about absolute power, Trump normalized it. By mocking his critics, he reinforced the idea that dissenters don't matter. And this might have been easy to laugh off if it weren't for what came next. Behind the jokes was a chilling pattern, a growing belief that the president's power has no limits. Just days before the protests, Trump commuted the 7-year prison sentence of former Congressman George Santos, who had pleaded guilty to fraud. Legal experts called it a parody of justice. Even Republicans like Nick LaLatta said he stole millions, defrauded an election, and he gets 3 months. That's not justice. And yet, the message was unmistakable. Loyalty pays. Defiance does not. While Americans were chanting "No Kings," the president was expanding his power overseas. The Defense Department announced a 7th strike in the Caribbean, destroying a boat allegedly used by drug traffickers. Trump called them the Al-Qaeda of the Western Hemisphere, but no evidence was shown. No trials, no names, no accountability. Senator Rand Paul warned, if the president can declare anyone a terrorist and execute them without due process, we no longer live under the rule of law. Trump even authorized covert CIA operations in Venezuela, threatening to close up Colombian drug fields himself if their president didn't act. These weren't empty words. They were declarations from a man who saw borders and laws as obstacles to his will. Back home, the administration began silencing critics. Journalists were expelled from the Pentagon for refusing to sign restrictive press agreements. The White House called it national security. Reporters called it what it was: censorship. As protests grew, Trump's allies lashed out. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt labeled marchers Hamas, terrorists, and violent criminals. House Speaker Mike Johnson called them Hate America rallies, but the reality on the ground told a different story. CNN reporters found families, veterans, teachers, retirees, not radicals, but ordinary Americans fearful for their democracy. A woman dressed as the Statue of Liberty told reporters, "This isn't about left or right. It's about right and wrong." Among them was Peggy Cole from Flint, Michigan, a retired government worker. "It seems to me Trump is taking our government and dismantling it piece by piece," she said. "If we sit by and do nothing, it'll all be gone." Her words echoed across the marches like a warning bell. Democracy doesn't vanish overnight. It erodes through mockery, distraction, and silence. Even Barack Obama weighed in, saying, "We're not at Mandela levels of sacrifice yet." But if people don't speak up now, one day they'll wish they had. Organizers estimate that over 7 million Americans joined the No Kings protests. Nearly 10% of Harris voters from the last election marched together, waving flags, holding signs that read "Democracy, not Dynasty," and "We the People." In Portland, the waterfront filled with music and chants. In Chicago, artists painted murals of the Constitution, guarded by citizens. In Los Angeles, children dressed as the Founding Fathers handed out copies of the Bill of Rights. It wasn't just a protest. It was a reminder that power still belongs to the people. And yet, when the White House was asked about the protests, spokesperson Abigail Jackson said 2 words: "Who cares?" 2 words that summed up the arrogance of power and proved exactly what the protesters feared. Throughout history, nations have faced this test. When leaders forget they serve the people, when laws bend for loyalty, when truth becomes whatever the ruler says it is, democracies crumble. The No Kings movement may one day be remembered as more than a protest. It might be the turning point where Americans drew a line in the sand, not against a man, but against the idea that one man could rule them all. What Trump calls strength, others see as hubris. What he calls loyalty, others see as submission. And what he mocks as small protests might be the beginning of a greater resistance. When Trump laughed at the chants of "No Kings," he didn't realize something. The louder he mocked democracy, the more determined democracy became to answer back. America now stands at a crossroads between constitutional order and unchecked power. Between a presidency and a throne. For now, the protests are peaceful. But the tension grows with every decree, every pardon, every meme. The question isn't whether Trump wants to be a king. The question is, will Americans let him? From the cobblestone streets of Boston to the freeways of Los Angeles, one message echoed through the chaos. We are citizens, not subjects. We are governed, not ruled. We are Americans, and there are no kings here. The fight for democracy isn't over. It never is. But every time a citizen stands up with a banner, a voice, or a vote, the crown grows heavier, and freedom stands taller. Because in the United States of America, the throne belongs to no one, and the power belongs to the people.